So now, I want to talk about the personalities of the Gilded Age, including robber barons and the term captain of industry, and also about other terms like such as Darwinism and gospel of wealth and the forgettable presidents in that era. So starting from all these capitalists, the first one, Cornelius Vanderbilt, I want to talk about him because he actually built the Biltmore estate, the Biltmore house in at the Asheville region and on a large portion of land in Asheville. And the Biltmore estate was actually a lot bigger than right now. And John Rockefeller, he's very similar to Andrew Carnegie. They all like started poor. Their family was poor, and Rockefeller worked as a clerk in a Cleveland shipping firm, and he saved enough money to start his own business. And finally, he became the richest person in America, and he served as a poster child for capitalism. But he's actually a very controversial character because some people say that he's the captain of industry because he actually brought a lot of economic profit to America. And some people would say he's a robber baron because the term robber baron actually means an American capitalist at the turn of 19th century who actually enriched himself upon the sweats of others. So that basically means they don't care about others. They just care about themselves and how to make their money. They exploit natural resources and possess unfair government influence. But he actually demands recognition because the large profit he brought to America and the way he does his business and his influence to the people. So Andrew Carnegie, as I said, he started poor and he went to private libraries built by others when he was young. That was very lucky of him to get books to read. So he made money during Civil War by helping like the army supplies and just transferring like going around helping the armies. And he made enough money to start his business. He had very good business techniques. It is named the vertical combination. So actually, vertical combination kind of come from the horizontal combination, which is right here, which means that when two or more companies are involved in the same stage of the production and distribution process of a particular product joined together. A little bit different from that, vertical combination means that he brought other railroad companies who actually need sales from his company, and he made sales and he sold them to the railroad companies of himself too. So he's making money again, again, and he started to give back in the community after he got successful. 3,000 libraries were sponsored by him. He started Carnegie Mellon University and sponsored the Carnegie Hall in New York City. And I also want to talk about Andrew Mellon, which he was appointed as the Secretary of Treasury in 1921 and served for 10 years and 11 months, which was the third longest Secretary of Treasury who served at the time. Now I want to talk about the social Darwinism of humans. So, as you guys know, Charles Darwin, he started the theorem that only the fit ones could live in the world. So, which is called natural selection, as you might learn in biology. So, social Darwinism, which talking about human, which means that the most fit ones would be the most successful ones. So survival of the finest, which is a conclusion for this, and also social Darwinism was led by uh, Herbert Spencer and William Graham Sumner. Um, Social Darwinism basically believed that the same should happen with humans, so which is really close to what we believe now. And the opposed government hands out safety regulations or laws that are restricting like child labors because they think these laws and actions would actually protect the weak, so which is against their beliefs, and the gospel of wealth, which means that God played a big role in deciding who was the most fit, and so Andrew Carnegie and John Rockefeller, as I talked about before, they are a big fan of gospel of wealth. So they both agree on that most successful people were the ones with the necessary skills, but they each believe that God played a big role in deciding who got the skills, which sounds um, pretty possible nowadays, but people actually believe that because of the Christians. And the Christians version demand that some of the money needs to be shared. So that's just like Carnegie and Rockefeller, who actually gave back the community after they got rich, even though they were poor before they were poor when they were born in their family, and American dreams. As you guys all have heard that term. So it actually starts from Horatio Alger, who wrote the dime novels. Uh, the dime novels was about how to get rich in America. It's like little stories, but each story tell you a way to get like rich in America. Either it's working hard or something else, and it's basically to immigrants from the other world. So he believed that uh, as long as you work hard, you will get you will not be in poverty. So this idea is the basis for American Dream, pretty much. Uh, Also, the forgettable presidents during this era was a very big topic. So basically, um, there are there are presidents who got assassinated, who got impeached, who was drowning in corruption and assassinated. So it's a very unpeaceful era of politics. First, Andrew Johnson, he was impeached and was one vote close from uh, getting removed from the office. And President Grant, as you definitely know him from the Civil War, he's a Union commander, which is a very good leader in the army. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he's a very good political leader like a president. So what he basically does was relied on people who would steal public money and who were really corrupted. That's how like the credit mobilier scandal started. So people don't trust him anymore, not because he's a dishonest person, but just because he uses dishonest person. His successor was Rutherford Hayes. He was trusted by the people and with integrity, but the way he got the presidency was very like controversial because he only won the election by one electoral vote um, against Samuel Tilden, who was actually leading him by 19 votes. So after Hayes, um, the president who got in was James Garfield. He was assassinated by Charles Giltley, who was very upset with Garfield for overlooking him for a political job, and he just shot the president. The vice president Chester Arthur got in for president, and uh, he was the one disgraced by his own party for doing what he thought was right. So this is pretty much the political era of the 19 the the Gilded Age, and the Congress was really occupied by the Republican Party. That both houses of Congress were full of representatives owned by big business. So that's pretty much um, all the stuff about Gilded Age I want to talk about. So see you guys later.